The DP podcast, Dark podcast, when you gaze into the abyss and the abyss gazes back into you. Everything within the darkness must be shined on within the light, within this podcast. Alright, so continuation of the manipulation sequel within this series. Alright, so yeah, so the important part about manipulation, the goal, essentially, because you may be like, how do you know you sacrificed your shit? Okay, so this is kind of put in the previous episode already, but it wasn't emphasized. The moment that you are willingly insane, you don't kind of, how do you say, how you say, like, bring yourself back outside of psychosis, which is a form of being psychotic, okay? You willingly remain in psychosis, disassociated, depersonalizing, derealization. You allow yourself to remain in it, depression, as well as mental illness, constantly moody, irrational, psychotic, okay, insane, you are unhealthy, toxic, and what's the other one? And you impure, and you done quote unquote, you believe that you lost your innocence. Oh yeah, you basically went away from you. Okay, them apparitions and them phenomenons might not take you out this bitch. They might not backdoor you. They might not get you plotted out. But your ancestors finna take you out this bitch. Yes, they finna take you out this bitch. They finna get you deported out this bitch. They finna get you finna be signed up voluntarily, because ain't nobody gonna force you to do shit. You gonna voluntarily sign up to get your ass transcended up out of here, because you not gonna be around here for no, because you one away from losing your soul. Not losing your soul, you one away from sacrificing your shit, and they don't. What are you talking about? Okay, Source did not create your soul for you to sacrifice your shit to them niggas who don't want to, who basically disconnected and detached from Source. Because remember, they fell. Those demons, those archons, those entities, those apparitions, those principalities, they failed because they didn't want to work with Source no more. They didn't want to work with Almighty God and Source. They said fuck Source, they said fuck Almighty God, and they said fuck all the goddesses and gods, and as well as angels and so-called deities, or what you believe to be called deities, if you believe deities exist, and as well as spirit guides that ain't following you, and demigods and demigoddesses that ain't following you. They said fuck all y'all, we gonna do what the fuck we want to, we gonna tear shit up. And that's when you get the concept of folks getting raped, so-called what you believe to be called murdered, okay? You got folks who get abused, stuff like that. They the ones who, their big daddy created it. Yes, their big daddy created that. Yes, they did. Yes, he did. Yeah. And what you may believe him to be called Satan. Maybe, and then you believe the those that he is in cahoots with. You may call him Lucifer, Lilith, stuff like that. As well as what's the other one? The devil, stuff like that. You may believe and call that. There are more than one. There's more than one devil. That's number one. Okay, Satan is what you call, where the word Jesus comes from, which is hell, Zeus. Okay, so it's just another word for Zeus. That's Satan. Which if you know anything about it, if you are well informed, that's a Greco-Roman mythology god, same as Jupiter, all of them. It's the same thing. Venus, and not to be mistaken, but Jupiter, Venus, and Mars. But if not Mars, then not Mars. All right, cool. It was all fallen gods and goddesses and angels and shit like that. So don't get it twisted. That's who the fuck got. That's where deception came from. Distortion is a part of that as well, and trickery, and manipulation, and the tactics are there, or basically the forms of tricks that they use to convince, influence you into willingly doing what they feel like benefits them. So these are like primal psychopaths, primal sociopaths. Oh, that's a part of the dark triad too. Sociopaths. Yeah, they the ones who got taken out. They the ones who really saw their shit, souls and shit. They gone for real. So, because in the previous episode, that was also abundantly clear that those within the dark triad have those attributes, okay, of these fallen ones, okay. So you don't gotta believe they real. They know you're real. They know you're true. They know you exist, and all they want you to do is believe that they don't exist, so that way they can influence you. And all those magic kinds of different forms of magic that they use are just manipulation tactics, which are the tricks. And the more that you believe, basically you're distorted, and the more that you are willing to remain distorted, okay, you are willfully ignorant, and that willful ignorance is simply just delusion, which leads to psychosis, which leads to psychotic breakdowns. Those psychotic breakdowns are them whooping you letting them use your mind and your spirits and your vessel and your soul to whoop your own ass. All because you ain't want to put your shield on. Your shield up and your armor on. All because you ain't want to put your little helmet on. Just because you ain't want to raise your sword. You better believe that cross is not a motherfucking symbolism of peace. That's a sword, nigga. Put up your shit, yeah. And they use what you believe to be called religions to convince you to worship them. Okay? They want you to war within your ship, your vessel, your mind, your Merkabah, which is your ship, your astral ship. Okay? Your avatars. Okay? That's what worshiping does. Cause you go war, cause it puts you in a position to go to war with yourself. Okay? It manipulates you to go into war with yourself. Because when you worship anything outside of you, what you doing is you believe in, you basically, what you believe to be called giving your power away. And then those truly aren't called religions. Those are cults, covens. Okay? And they all up in that bed, doing spells and witchcraft and all types of white magic and shit to convince you, to manipulate you into continuing to worship anything and everything outside of you. It don't even gotta be them. But the moment you do that, it's cause they done started that shit. They up the score. Not even started that shit. They basically destroyed something in order for this to be possible, for this to exist. And you being self-aware creates a reality where it doesn't. A world where it doesn't exist. Then they won't be able to use white magic and light magic, which doesn't directly come from source. It is an extension. It's a remnants. It's just like the pieces, it's like the pieces of glass from a mirror. But they can never use the true mirror, which is your mind.